on this channel to fulfill the scriptural mandate of Jeremiah 1:9. Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, I have put my words in your mouth, in Revelation 10:11. Then I was told, you must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings. It is my prayer for Matthew, the 13th chapter and the 35th verse, to unfold in my life, ministry, and practice. So was fulfilled what was spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things hidden since the creation of the world. Okay, and I am Tia DeShay, and this is a Mere Moment Message with Tia DeShay. It is Monday, January 30th, 2023. It is 11:39 a.m. Now, this Mere Moment Message, I'm going to read this and then elaborate on it. Okay, let me find it. Let me find the message. All right, here we are. This is taken from Solara Speaks, a YouTuber. She has a channel entitled Solara Speaks. Okay, and she posted this on her community tab on YouTube. And when I read it, more messages came to me. But here it is. It's a new day. What was done in the darkness to create illusions and delusions of grandeur, celebrity, affluence, fame, prestige, and power is coming to the light. Too many have been put on the altar for other people's unchecked egos, and time is up. They victimized and then victim shamed you to keep you stuck, looping through lower timelines, ever chasing and never getting. They laughed at you in their ivory towers as they watched you run around yourself in circles while they tampered with your reality to keep you stuck. They sold you a lie and made you believe that everyone was on equal ground when the only way to access the success of the Matrix was through their society's orders and soul harvesting models. This really, really, really hit me because I was victim to this. In college, I remember I wanted to pledge a sorority. It was Zeta Phi Beta. Because I thought at the time, this is what it's about, to have that sisterhood, to have that connection, to be popular. Needless to say, I didn't make it. Before I even knew what it was, my higher self kicked in, and I was too rebellious for them. And I was told that. I was told that I would have made it. Like, the hazing process, the initiation process, all of that. Like, if I had went through with it, I would have made it because they really wanted me. And now when I look back on it, and with the information that I know now, I understand why they wanted me. Like, they saw my power and they wanted to harvest my energy before I even knew what all that was. Okay, they saw my potential before I saw my potential. But needless to say, I didn't make it. But I was in that mindset of thinking, oh, I'll join this organization and I have this brotherhood and this sisterhood and the connections and all of that. Then I became a teacher. And I did the majority of my I served the majority of my time teaching. I was getting ready to say I did the majority of my time, which sounds like I did a bid in jail. That's interesting that it was going to come out that way. But I did the majority of my time teaching with Detroit Public Schools. And, I was getting the education because that's what it was about. The more education you received with Detroit Public Schools, the more money you made. You were higher on the pay scale. And then, you know, I wanted the education because my dream was to be superintendent of Detroit Public Schools. I wanted to be a principal. I wanted to move up in the ranks and leadership, all of that. But it was always an obstacle. You know, I had to be in with the right group of people. And at the time when I was teaching, it was all about recommendations from your principal to recommend you to be in this leadership academy. Now, mind you, I've already spent thousands of dollars, you know, obtaining my master's degree and obtaining my educational specialist degree. And we're not going to even talk about all the times that I spent, you know, in professional development. Now you want me to attend this leadership academy when I have a whole degree in leadership, in educational leadership, in public administration, like, you know, leadership and policy studies. Like, I have a whole degree and a certification in this, a specialist in this. Like, I'm literally 2 years short of getting a doctorate in education, in educational leadership. Like, at the time, it would have taken me like 2 more years and I would have received my doctorate. And even with the doctorate, you know, the university that I was attending at the time wanted you had to be an administrator in order to get into their doctorate program at the time. All of these hoops, like she just said, all of these hoops they wanted me to go through in order to be a part of their society, a part of their group. And I knew, and this was before I'm doing what I'm doing now, but my higher self knew, something in me knew, and that something was my higher self, knew that I was a leader and I was quite capable of what I wanted and was pursuing at that time. But all of these systems and processes and protocols were in place on purpose, on purpose. And what she's saying is that this stuff is coming down. This stuff is coming down. And if I had you know, bowed down and basically, you know, kissed up and played the game and became an administrator, like, I would be deep into the matrix. They would be really harvesting my energy and my soul. She goes on to say, they made you feel and believe you were a failure when they were purposely and purposefully putting obstacles on your path to demoralize and keep you stuck. Oh my goodness, yes, because that is how I felt. I felt like a failure. I felt like such a waste. It was such a challenging time for me to walk away from teaching because I just felt like a failure. Like, I went and I got all this education. I did everything that you told me to do. You know, I was knee deep in student loan debt. You know, all of this to play the game and to get the credentials and qualifications that you say that I needed, and it still wasn't enough. I still couldn't get access, you know, into your club, into your society, into your, you know, circle, your group, your circle of friends and circle of power. Still couldn't get access. You know, and I spent a big chunk of my life. I won't say that because it makes it seem like I don't have a long life to live. But I spent, you know, a portion of my life, like decades, at least a decade and a half, committed and giving my energy to this system, thinking that I could just get in, to, you know, just wanting to be seen, wanting people to see my potential and my power and what I could do for your organization. And they saw it all right. They saw it, and that's why they did not put me in those positions, because they knew that I was going to wake up. And once you get into those positions and you wake up, they don't want that. So, at the time, I did not see it as a blessing, but it was a blessing. She goes on to say, they kept you in these deep states of despair and shame in order to feed what it is that allowed for them to flaunt the illusions of success in the matrix system. Many believe they made it out and that you were a slave to them. They're about to find out what true enslavement looks like because they didn't think karma was real or that it would come for them. Narcissists seldomly do. Time for the true victors to stand up and for those who victimize them for the riches and false security of the old world to take several seats. Karma and God are no respecter of persons or titles. The soul of a person is what carries their divine weight in gold. And when she said this, I knew this. Like, I had been hearing this message for a while, just didn't know. I may have communicated it. Like, I've had so many social media pages and then I just deleted them. Like, so I'm sure at some point, time or another, I posted this on a social media page years ago, and deleted it or whatever. But I knew this in my soul what she was saying, and this is just confirmation. Like, time is up. All that, the old way of having to network and rub elbows with people and who that's over with. That, because it's not getting you anywhere. Every day in the news, in some way, shape, or form, in some type of media, whether it's in the news or we see it on social media, however it's communicated to us, we see people who are supposedly at the top, who are leaders, who are game changers, and we're seeing their empires fall and crumble. We're seeing them for who they really are, lying about their credentials and their resume. And there's people out here who really did the work, who really went to school, who really, did the internships, who studied and, passed the test. And these people are lying about, you know, where they worked and who they worked with and what type of education they have. And they're being voted into these, places of power and positions of power and in government. And they're liars, they're frauds, imposters. But they knew how to play the game. But now it's being exposed. Like, it's over with, it's done. And I was so thankful to see this post because the time is up. You don't have to do that anymore. I'm a living witness. Just be who you are. Be who you are. Whatever it is that you feel that God is telling you to do, your spiritual counsel, your spiritual team is telling you to do it. Do it. And you will reach the right people. You will reach the people that you are assigned to. You don't have to compromise yourself and your values. You don't have to let this system continually feed off your energy. You don't. You are powerful beyond measure. You don't. Because there's nothing worse than having to look at yourself in the mirror and know that you're selling out. But because you're so used to the money and the lifestyle that comes with it, you don't want to let that go. Because your whole being and your existence is tied to this. You feel validated by this system. And so you know it's wrong, but you don't want to let it go. I know what she was saying in this. I know it in the very depths of my being. Like, I know what it felt like. And it was all on purpose to make me feel like I was a failure, because I'm over here doing everything that they said to do, and where did it get me? I'm not saying, I think one of the most honorable occupations or professions is to be a teacher, because you literally have people's lives in your hand. Like, there are people, I used to tell my students all the time, there are people literally out here who are homeless because of what a teacher said to them. There are people out here literally hooked on drugs are addicts because of what a teacher said to them. There are people who we quote unquote put on the pedestal of celebrity and famous, and they will, in the middle of an interview say what a teacher said to them, that they'll never make it. And these are people who we look to them as role models and mentors and so successful, but they had to overcome what a teacher said to them. So being a teacher is a powerful position, and I realize that I am a teacher. That is a gift. That is not a title. It's not a title. It is a gift. It is who I am, and I express that gift in that place of beingness in all areas of my life. It's not just in the public school setting or in an institution that doesn't even appreciate it anyway. But I realized that, they made it, the system made it seem like I was a failure, because I was like, this can't be all that it is, or yeah, all that it is just being in a classroom teaching. It has to be more than this. And I thought I wanted more. I was aspiring for more, to be in leadership, but that's not what they wanted from me. They didn't want me in those positions. But they kept dangling the carrot in front of me and saying, do this and do that and do this and do that. But they already knew who they wanted, because they saw my awakening before I saw it. And it was no way that my ancestors wanted the energy and the power that I've gained and that I continue to gain from my awakening. It's no way my ancestors wanted me to be in these institutions and they just leeching off of it. Absolutely not. So continue to be you. You don't have to do it the way they told you to do it. Even if you have a business, don't get caught up in all the algorithms and the um, not multi, but in the social media, um, marketing and all of that. I mean, that's nice to know. It's nice to have business knowledge, but don't get caught up in the old way of doing things, the old way of getting subscribers and likes, and you gotta know all about the algorithms, and you gotta know all about keywords, and don't get caught up in that. Whatever you're told to do, do it to the best of your ability. Use the resources you have and just be consistent. Just put out the content and don't worry about everything else. If you need to know about that stuff, then if you need to know about that information or that way of doing things, then you'll be led to that. But don't get caught up in the old way. That's the old way of how to build your brand. Just be you. Be you building your brand. A perfect example of that, and I'm going to end, is Tabitha Brown. Beautiful brown sister with the afro for days. When she became herself, everything fell in place for her. When she became herself, when she wasn't being something that she wasn't, when she was talking country and wearing her big beautiful afro and just dressing colorful and artistic and creative, when she was just being herself, is when she began to walk in the fullness of who she was. Because I didn't know who she was. I think she played on some popular show, some popular quote unquote black show, I guess. I don't know. And that's how she became a household name. But I didn't see the fullness of her, or she didn't come uh um into my scheme of things until she became who she was, with her afro and creative self. So, she began in a system, and certain people saw her, but the people who really needed to see her saw her when she started being herself. So just be yourself. No matter where you start, those people weren't really meant to see you and enjoy you and experience you. The people who are meant to see you, experience you, enjoy you are the ones who witness your real self, your true self. Whatever that may look like for you. That is why I entitled this message Network Failure. Because the days of, oh, you got to network, and oh, you got to do things this way, and you got to know about the algorithm, and you got to know about the keywords, to use the keywords so recruiters can find you. Those days are over. They are over. People are going to find you. They're looking for your light. They are not looking for a keyword. And that's a message right there. They are looking for your light. They are not looking for a keyword. They are looking for your light. And then she goes on to say, victory in the old world required the ritualized victimization of others. And that is so true. The true victors of this age are about to stand and shine. They will reveal all who cloak themselves in their energy for advancement in the matrix and its pyramid schemes. Those who willingly and willfully sold out others to rig the wheel of fortune are getting their justice. Come on, people. Come on. It's no coincidence that she said that, and I have a candle burning for justice. And with the card in one of my tarot decks, Dr. Buzzer. And he was a hoodoo root worker that was known to do successful root workings in regards to justice in court cases. So it's no coincidence that she mentions that. And the Wheel of Fortune came up in my ancestral reading that I did for myself. So I know that this is all confirmation, and that what she is saying is truth, and we are on the same frequency. And then she ends it by saying it's a new day. If you want to follow her, subscribe to her channel on YouTube. It's Solara. All right, so that's been the mirrored moment message for today. Remember, people are not looking for a keyword. They are looking for your light. All right. So I am Tia DeShay. This has been another mirrored moment message with Tia DeShay. The network is failing, people. It is failing. It is being overloaded, and it is failing. There are no contingency plans. There's no backup for this. Once it fails, it's a wrap. There's no rebuilding this. We are experiencing a network failure. So this has been another mirrored moment message with Tia DeShay. I am Tia DeShay. And remember, pay attention to what you don't see, because what you don't see will help you make sense of what you are seeing. Until next time, stay blessed and stay aware.